Very interesting. I see your hobbies are drinking, smoking weed, and all types of ill shit.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You got yourself a job. Right on, huh?
You've done a hell of a lousy job. You're late. You're fired.
What's up, guys? Boy Benny. So Tim Pool a couple of weeks ago tweeted that Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks is far right. One of us. And that sort of got us to pay attention. This is, of course, Anna Kasparian, who is a famous, like what many would refer to as potentially radical left-winger, who's on one of the most radical left-wing YouTube channels like in existence, the Young Turks, coming out and saying like restorative justice and defund the police and the insanity of not locking up criminals, not locking up murderers, letting murderers get bail is the end of society, is the end of civilization. And she just lost it, right? And so Tim Pool is sort of like bringing a through line from a left-wing commentator to the sort of common sense approach to society that is now being espoused by the likes of Joe Rogan and Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones, and how like Anna Kasparian is kind of on their side here, right? So it's very interesting. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So if you are fighting against a war on humanity and civilization, which is what happens when you release criminals to murder again, when you don't lock up criminals. I mean, I'm in San Francisco right now, right? So we're here to sort of catalog the decay and the decline of San Francisco, and it is atrocious what has happened to the city. I mean, we already got our car broken into, like 10 seconds into filming, we got our car broken into. This is the second time that's happened, so you just kind of expect it. You take the car back to the you take the car back, and they're like, yeah, this happens 3 times a day at Avis, the rental facility. So these are the kind of real world results that get people to finally break. So it's really nice theory on paper. A lot of these libs live inside of this like little echo chamber of theory on paper, critical race theory and all these things, restorative justice and equity and all this stuff like sounds very flowery and very beautiful on paper. And then you put it into practice. And so Anna Kasparian is now going viral again for tearing into diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, saying these people actually don't deserve their job. This is effectively just like a bailout program for people to get the jobs they've always wanted without earning them. This is what Cenk and Anna Kasparian are saying. Cenk, of course, one of the largest and biggest voices for progressives in the country and in the world. Cenk, many are starting to get the sense that DEI is mostly used to help elite black people to get the jobs they want. Anna, can we please just hire the most qualified people for the job because kids can't even read? This sounds like a Tucker Carlson monologue, not a Young Turks monologue. Are we in the singularity? Let's go.
The New Yorker looked into the fierce culture wars that have been playing out at Amherst Regional Middle School in Massachusetts. And man, has it been a nightmare. So the white and Asian students are going to private or charter schools. They're focusing on academics. Then you look at this public school and they're riddled with culture war nonsense, okay?
I think that a lot of people, including myself to be honest, are starting to get the sense that, wait, is DEI actually to help minorities across the country? Because I'm in favor of that. Or is it to help elite African Americans and minorities get the jobs they want, right?
Like many other progressive school districts, Amherst uses restorative justice practices, which prioritize mediation and reconciliation over punishment, meaning nothing. Meaning no action, okay? Don't feed me this BS about like, oh, we did mediation. No, okay, you could take your mediation and shove it up your ass. Stop wasting taxpayer money and playing with these kids' lives by engaging in your cutesy little culture war games. Go do that in your own time, go do it in your own home, I don't care. So just be a freaking human being. Treat the freaking students with respect. And can we please just hire the most qualified people to do the job? Because kids can't even freaking read. And we're having a discussion about like, is the double-blind hiring process increasing diversity when the person who's implementing this policy isn't even following it and deciding to hire her friends instead?
Yeah, 100%.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, people are starting to notice that even the left wing of the left flank, like the Democrat Party and the Democrat establishment, have gone to the far left of the left flank, which was held up by the Young Turks just a few short years ago. The Young Turks was as radical as you can get. And now they look right-wing in comparison. Cenk goes on nuclear bombshell against Biden. He might as well vote for RFK. Instead, Joe Biden sucks. He's 100% corrupt. People in the mainstream media and the Democrat Party make what I view to be a totally insane statement, which is that he may have taken billions of dollars from corrupt contributions and he doesn't owe them any favors. This is just nuts. Guys, this is like Joe Rogan commentary. This is like Tucker Carlson commentary here, talking about Joe Biden's filthy business dealings. Watch.
And I'm disgusted by it, and any decent person should be disgusted by it. So what am I supposed to say? Like, oh, Joe Biden's so great. No, I don't do propaganda. Joe Biden sucks, and his corruption is the same as all of the establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans. They take hundreds of millions, actually in the case of Biden, billions of dollars in corporate campaign contributions and pretend that the contributions don't matter to them. So I'm not ever going to grab pom-poms and cheerlead for Joe Biden. Now, in terms of RFK Jr., I'm not saying I'm going to vote for him. I'm saying I have begun to consider it. He's crazy on vaccines and conspiracy theories, etc. At the same time, he doesn't come in with a giant amount of corruption baggage like Biden and Trump do. So that's just reality. And then where does that leave me? I don't know. I'm going to see how the campaign plays out.
You have said that Joe Biden has been, quote, corrupt his whole life. I mean, what evidence do you have that Joe Biden is corrupt?
100% corrupt. I have overwhelming evidence. But I don't want people to think that I'm picking on Joe Biden as he's the only politician who's corrupt or that he's personally corrupt. I'm talking about systemic corruption. The problem with Donald Trump is he's personally corrupt and he can't wait to take money from Saudi Arabia and all these other places. We get that. We all understand that, right? But when it comes to Biden, people in mainstream media and the Democratic Party make what I view to be a totally insane statement, which is, no, he might have taken $1 billion from corporate contributions, but he doesn't owe them any favors. And he doesn't let those donors affect them at all. Look, that's just nuts.
So people are starting to notice this in some pretty wild, broad swath of the political zeitgeist are beginning to say, like, something's happening here, right? Anna Kasparian in this mega rant effectively says, how are you allowed to get away with murder when you dismembered people and hid their body parts all throughout your home? And the police found out because your home smelled of blood, and you're like, we're supposed to think that this is okay. These policies are okay. Here's sort of the rant that started it all.
Dismembering a corpse and hiding a corpse after dismembering it, not bail eligible, not a serious crime. I'm not even kidding, guys. Like when Joy Behar outlined that case, I was like, she's crazy. This isn't a thing. This isn't real. This isn't real. So I looked it up. It's real, guys. It's real. Listen, if being on the left means supporting this, then I'm not on the left, and I'm okay with that. So let me give you the details of the case.
It doesn't mean that.
Okay, I don't know. Let me give you the details.
On the left. We're all on the left. We don't want people dismembering folks getting released. Only a couple of lunatic.
Some do.
I know. What I was in the middle of saying is only a couple of lunatic activists are like, yeah, we're pro dismemberment guys being let go. Okay, whatever.
These
you
poor
don't represent the left
criminals who
at all.
dismembered bodies. It's so unfair to put them in prison. Okay, let me give you the details of the actual case, okay? So 4 people were arrested in New York after body parts were found in Long Island. Okay, dismembered body parts. The victims were, 2 people from Yonkers, older individuals. Suffolk County Police say 44-year-old Stephen Brown, 38-year-old Jeffrey Mackey, 40-year-old Amanda Wallace, and 33-year-old Alexis Neves were charged with concealment of a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, and hindering prosecution. They have not been charged with murder. Prosecutors told a judge there was so much blood in the pipes, sink, shower, and toilet of the Railroad Avenue home in Amityville where the suspects were arrested that it was deemed uninhabitable. Police said they confiscated meat cleavers, butcher knives, flesh, and body parts. Attorneys for Brown and Mackey admitted admitted that their clients lived in that home where the body parts and all that blood was found, but denied chopping up the 59-year-old woman and 53-year-old man whose last known address was in Yonkers. Wallace also lived with Brown and Mackey in Amityville. Police said that Knives is homeless. Okay, all four pleaded not guilty. The judge released them without bail. They were fitted with GPS monitoring and must report for in-person probation and surrender their passports.
I don't care about their passports.
Dude, guys, like what? Okay, so did further research because I just couldn't believe it. Here's more. With 2019 state reforms, mutilation and disposal of murdered corpses are among crimes that are no longer bail eligible. The DA said the four went to barbaric lengths to cover the crime. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, Cenk? What are we doing? What are we doing? Someone tell me, what the F are we doing?
Yeah, look, no one signed up for this. I don't know how the hell any of these laws passed. I went to every progressive conference there was over the last 20 years. I never heard a single person saying, why don't we let the actual criminals go? Hey, if someone butchers someone and chops them up into little pieces, let's do the kind of criminal justice reform where they would be able to walk out free.
Yeah, come at me right now and tell me I'm the bad guy because I want these people who dismembered corpses and tried to conceal the evidence in prison. Come at me and tell me I'm the bad guy. Come at me.
Look, guys.
Insane, you guys are insane. Anyone who thinks this is okay is insane. And everyone else in New York has to suffer the consequences of this with random bag checks at the subway by National Guard troops.
Of course, we checked in on this, by the way, and she's right. Like, Anna Kasparian is right, something I've never actually said on this channel. Here we go, she's right. Democrat Party's insane, deadly bail reform laws. Hochul blames Andrew Cuomo. Joy Behar was shocked that 4 murderer suspects were released despite body parts being found all over their Long Island home, and admits that murder is bail eligible in New York. When you have the witches of The View left in stunned shock and horror at your policies, you know that you have a massive pendulum problem. The pendulum it's always going like, it's always going like this in American society. Sometimes the pendulum swings really hard to the right, sometimes the pendulum swings really hard to the left, and it often corrects. And what you're seeing now is the correction. You're seeing mainstream people like The Rock talking very kindly about Donald Trump. People, I play this clip and people are like, that's not The Rock. I know, The Rock is right. The Rock is right here. This is some greaseball executive who was also in the interview. The Rock has also said that he regrets supporting Joe Biden. He won't support Joe Biden. Snoop Dogg says he has nothing but love and respect for Trump after filming an assassination video on him. And Joe Rogan, who has pretty publicly in past statements said he didn't like Donald Trump, is now straight up saying Donald Trump is far better than Joe Biden, without a doubt, and that if the election were today, he'd vote Trump. So let's make the election today. let's get this thing over with, and let's go save the country. Here's Joe Rogan.